Welcome to my house.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the house of BTS, the house that goes beyond the supernatural. I am your host, Stephen Dawes. For today's Q&A&C, or questions and answers and clarifications, I've got 2 words for you. Just 2. Ghost Hunter. Yeah, most of you would be familiar with this lovely image from Mr. Scott Johnson. Well, for those of you who like to play badass characters in Beyond the Supernatural, the Ghost Hunter is a great option with their cool psychic-powered gadgets and their weapons and specialized training and mentoring and their sweet psychic abilities. I mean, really, what's not to like? That said, I have had several questions about this particular character class, and I would like to go over those clarifications with you now. And if you're following from the book, start in the top right section of page 51 with the intuitive weapon knowledge ability, and I'll work my way down the list from there. And before I start clarifying, note that I prefer to refer to this character class as the Night Hunter, as Ghost Hunter has confused players in the past, and I just think it sounds cooler anyway. Also note that all of this was confirmed with Kevin and will show up in the Q&A section of the upcoming Creature Feature sourcebook. Now, intuitive weapon knowledge. The question I've gotten for this is, can the Night Hunter build a spare devil sword, power them both, and use them like paired weapons? And I'm happy to say the answer is yes, provided the Hunter has enough inner strength points, or ISP, to do so. Powering up their gadgets does not count towards any psychic ability limitations, so a Night Hunter could power up both of their swords, carrying one in each hand, their ghost armor, and their ghost vision goggles, all at once. In fact, as a powered-up sword lasts for an hour, or until the Hunter cancels the ability, the Hunter could drop or sheath both of his swords and arm themselves with the Ecto-Slayer shotgun and Ghost Hunter in each hand, power both of those up, and then switch back and forth as desired. That's all legal and way cool to do. And while I'm on this ability, the note on the bottom of it mentions that only the Night Hunter can use these weapons or items, and as I've gotten questions on this, I will clarify that. What this means in short is that the psychic-powered aspects of their gear only works in their hands. A Hunter could give a powered-up sword to another character, and while they would benefit from the standard aspects of the sword, if it's a sword that does, say, like 1d10 damage, they hit something with it, they'll do the 1d10 accordingly. However, they will not gain the extra damage bonus against supernatural beings as the Night Hunter does. Again, the sword is only, the psychic abilities are only attuned to that specific Hunter. So, and if they are wearing the, if you, and then from the same token, if you were to hand over the Ghost Vision goggles, any standard character could use the passive night vision that's a part of it, but they would not be able to see the invisible or entities or recognize ectoplasmic disguises and such like that. And, moving on. Firing an empty gun. There is conflicting information on the amount of damage this psychic ability does. There's a note in the first sentence that says the telekinetic bullets do 4d6 damage, but further down it reads that the damage is as per gun. Well, I can confirm that the correct amount is the as per damage, so simply ignore or cross out that part of the description like I've done in my book. Intuitive combat. I touched on this earlier, but it's worth going over again. Is there a note that in this ability? There is a note in this ability that reads the psychic is unable to use any other psychic powers while this one is in use. And the question I get about this is, if using the intuitive combat psychic ability, can the Hunter still power and use their psi-mechanic devices? And again, that answer is yes. Powering up their psi-mechanic devices does not count as using psychic abilities, so the Hunter could power all of their devices and summon their intuitive combat ability and go bananas on the supernatural. In fact, I encourage doing this, as it's as badass as it sounds. Alright, the weapons section. This is a easy one. Amongst the weapons carried by the hunter is a .22 caliber automatic pistol that's loaded with silver rounds. The damage on this gun is incorrect in the book. The damage should read as doing 2d4 damage to mortals and 4d4 damage to beings vulnerable to silver, not the 2d6/46. So I encourage you to make the changes in your books, like I've done. Next is the Ectoslayer shotgun. I've gotten more questions about the damage for this weapon than almost anything else in Rifts, and probably more than anything else. Rather than going over the error, I'll just state how the damage should work. And while against mortals, humans, animals, etc., a blast from the shotgun only does 1d6 damage. However, against supernatural beings with a physical body, it actually does 1d6 plus 1 per level. And what this means is that at level 1, it only does 1d6 plus 1, but at level 2, it does 2d6 plus 2, and at level 3, it does 3d6 plus 3, and so on. So in short, it's not the most powerful at first level, but as you go up in levels, that becomes an extremely powerful weapon, especially against beings that are vulnerable to fire, as well as to ancient evils and alien intelligences. Up next is the Ghost Armor. The question I've gotten a few times for this is, if the SDC of the armor force field is low, can I cancel the low amount and repower the armor again, bringing the SDC back of the force field back to maximum? And the answer is yes, you can. The only caveat to this is that you'll need to spend an action to shut off the armor's ability, and then spend another action to power it up again. That's a loss of 2 actions in the middle of combat, so I recommend that you make sure somebody's watching your back or you're in cover before you do this. And there you have it. That's all the questions I've gotten for the Ghost Hunter, or the Night Hunter if you prefer, like I do. And if you have any questions that I've not covered, you only need to respond in the notes below or in the comments and ask them, and I will be happy to answer them for you. More Q&A&Cs are coming, so subscribe to the house to watch them as I release them, and share this video with all your Palladium pals if you haven't already, and get ready for lots more to come from the writing desk of the host. I thank you for visiting the House of BTS, and farewell until we meet again.